Happy Saturday. And we're back. The Paradigm Shift, episode 140. 140 weeks in a row, no weeks off. My goodness. We have two very special guests on today. Someone I love very much, Mitz, and then we're bringing on Rene. I'm super pumped about this. Mitz, I see you on here. We're going to bring you on in less than five. Kim in the house, Big Joe, waiting for Big Dave to hop on, and we are going to get this party started. Let's get weird. Okay. How you guys feeling? How's the holiday treating you? How was Thanksgiving? What are you thankful for? Rene, I see you on, brother. We're going to bring you on in about 10 minutes. 10. But first, Uncle Dave. I see you, Dave. Hi, Uncle Dave.
Good morning, good Thanksgiving. What's going on, Craig Siegel?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm great, man. Good to be here. I was a little bit worried I couldn't get connected or you weren't online. I don't know which one, but I was like, did he get a Thanksgiving hangover or something?
You can never lose me, ever.
We're too consistent. 140.
It's pretty impressive.
Coming on 3 years. It'll be good.
That's pretty crazy if you think about it.
It is. Time flies when you're having fun, my brother. We're impacting tons of people, which is what we're all about.
Yeah, and the funny part is that really comes down to effort and commitment, two things that are available essentially to everybody, but not a lot of people take advantage of.
They do just every once in a while, and then they use that to justify why they don't got to smile.
True. Fair enough. Speaking of which, you look super handsome today.
That's
let's talk.
The way I roll, baby. That's the way I roll. Done my workout, done my studying. Right on time, ready to go. I'm going to play a little bit of golf and watch the Michigan-Ohio State game. And we'll see what else happens. They've got so many parties to go to. I got to be prioritize my time wisely.
Yeah. How do you have a process for not like overdoing it when it comes to food or maybe a drink because it is holiday season?
Well, I don't really drink anymore, so that's easy. It was not easy in my previous life. But I'll have one drink, and it's pretty disciplined. Food is where I have my trouble. I have a scarce energy that I grew up with because we didn't have enough food with 6 kids and a single mom. And my biggest problem is not even eating unhealthy things. It's eating too much of healthy things, and too much of anything is a problem. And so I work on, portion control, especially during Thanksgiving. And I did a fairly good job. When you work out hard, you get super hungry as well. So that I struggled. I would say out of everything I struggle discipline-wise, overeating is probably my biggest challenge. And I'm working through it energetically.
Dave, thank you for that raw vulnerability.
Hey, man, you got to share your problems. I found, especially over the last few years, just sharing the struggles. I know for Thanksgiving, it was interesting because I had so much anxiety about the Thanksgiving festivities at my brother's house with 50 of us, and really haven't gotten together everybody. And it's a formula for success or disaster. You know why? Because when you get those people together, you may have this in your family, Craig. People know how to push your buttons, but one of my friends told me it's not only that they know how to push your buttons, it's they installed the buttons. Ooh. And so it's lethal. That's
a good one right there.
It sure is. It's a nugget for me. That was my takeaway for Thanksgiving. But it worked, man. I had such a good time with my family, and no drama mama, and just a lot of love and people appreciating the blessed family that we have. Not perfect by any means, but blessed, and I would be the anchor of imperfection in my family, but I do my best. I learn lessons, and I certainly have fun, especially at those occasions now. So I felt major progress and growth because I was able to go down there with no anxiety and leave with no anxiety as well.
I love that. Beautifully said. And before we bring on Mitzi, who I'm very fond of and I love and I can't wait to introduce you to, you mentioned progress and growth there. And typically in life, the way to achieve expansion and reach more of your potential is to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. So I'm wondering, what is something that's uncomfortable for you right now that maybe you're working through because you know that's where the growth and expansion lies?
Well, first, it was those family functions. That's an area for me, in trying to reconcile personal historical relationships where people have snapshots of you. And as you have excelled and looked for growth in yourself, there becomes a separation between those in your past and who you are today, because it's impossible for them to know that. And the desire for you to want them to appreciate who you are today and what you're becoming instead of who you were when you were 18 is really a difficult void that I make myself feel uncomfortable by going to those people that I previously may not have acted in appropriate ways with, and trying to heal or let it fall away or fire them from my life.
Yeah. Speaking of healing, Mitz, how you doing?
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. So great to meet you, Dave, and great to be here with you, Craig.
Wow, you look great. You glowing.
Yeah. How do you look that good so early in the morning? That's amazing.
It's the post-Thanksgiving glow up. That's all. I've been awake since 2:30 this morning because I'm watching my son's little dog, and she was sleeping right on me all night and kept moving around.
Oh. And
so I'm awake. I'm wide awake.
The heat of sleeping with a dog is just like a water bottle. I think just heats up the whole bed.
It is. It is. I have a love-hate relationship with that.
I feel you.
Let's talk right in, guys. It's going to be so much fun for a lot of my audience, those Mitz, because the community and so forth. But if they didn't, maybe Dave's doesn't, give her a follow. Check out the awesome stuff she's got going on. And it's funny because we just mentioned the word heal. And Mitz, some of the great work that you do consists of healing and so forth. And one thing that you talk about often, and I think this is good, especially around holiday time, is that you can't be afraid to look at the wounds from your past. A lot of people try to purposely avoid them. Why do you say that, and why is that helpful?
Well, the wounds are where the key lessons are living. So you have to look at the wounds. If you're afraid to look at your wounds, you're not going to know how to treat them. Just the same as if you were to cut yourself, you have to take a look at the cut to see how deep it is. What kind of treatment does it need? Is it going to be a Band-Aid, or do you have to go get some stitches? It's the same thing with your life experiences. You need to be able to take a look at them. And I always say, if it's something you can remember, if it's presenting itself in your present moment, it is something you can handle. And so knowing that things that come up for you are things that you can handle makes it easier for you to go back, take a look at the wounds and say, all right, what am I going to do about this now as the person I am today? Because I'm not there now. I'm here, and I can treat it. I can take care of it. I can love it. I can, be tender with it now,
That's a good nugget, right, Dave?
Oh my God, incredible. And I think it's so interesting because we do give meaning to everything that we see. And what is nice about going backwards into our own historical relevances, defining moments, failures, setbacks, mistakes, successes even, is our ability to understand that we're incapable of knowing or understanding outcomes. And a lot of time in the present, outcomes, they reveal themselves in a way that we don't understand or know to be a benefit to us. And so we deem it to be punishment. We deem it to be a wound as per se. And so by going backwards and allowing linear time to reveal the protection and promotion, the growth in the healing, it allows us also to then recognize more clues in the future, more patterns in the future, and make better choices in the future, acquiring the knowledge of what it takes in order to effectuate a quicker healing process. We're all going to get wounded every single day. And I try to teach Craig this as I met him. Every day, everyone gets kicked in the face at least 8 times. It's how quickly you can heal getting kicked in the face, the minutes and moments that we spend at dis-ease in order to effectuate a better trajectory in our own lives of that love, protection, promotion, and healing that we all really desire. And so the only way to do that is to go back and see the revelation, the revealing of the meaning, because, you know, some things when they happen in the present just suck. And we have to remind ourselves we're not capable of knowing or understanding outcomes. It takes time in order for those lessons and love to reveal itself.
Yeah, that's good. It's deep. And then I have another question for Mitz, and also I'm curious to hear Dave's answer too. Mitz, is it the actual trauma that happened to us in the past, or is it the meaning that we gave it?
Yeah, it's the meaning. It's the meaning that we gave it, and it's also the emotions that were created at that time that we tend to carry, and then we fear, you know, that we're going to be going back into those emotions that we don't want to continue to experience, because a lot of our root cause foundational programming is established when we're very young and even before the age of 7. So when you're a grown-up, you have to come to the realization at some point that you now have a choice, that you're going to continue either to live in that early programming or to change it. And you can go back and say, what limiting beliefs do I have that were formed early on? What empowering beliefs do I have that were formed early on? Which do I want to keep? Which do I want to discard? Which do I want to just change? And so, you know, that is the thing that gets people hung up, is the emotion and the meaning. But we have control of the meaning. You have a choice about what things mean.
Yeah, no, we give meaning to everything that we see. It's interesting because we have a genetic as well as an energetic inheritance, and formulated even in the womb or before the womb, determined upon, you know, what beliefs and perspectives that we share. And it's so interesting that in the biggest moments, the Thanksgivings, the Christmases, the holidays, the Academy Awards, in our biggest moments are when we get to our core genetic and energetic inheritance. And so other people have said, I remember Denzel Washington talking about Will Smith at the Academy Awards. He said, you know, it's in our biggest moments that the demons, the devils come out. It's really just like money. It's in our biggest moments we are amplified, and, you know, money will amplify who we are, all the good in us and all the bad in us. So will the big moments, the Thanksgivings, the Christmases, Hanukkahs, the New Year's, the Academy Awards, the Super Bowls. And you will still see through the celebrities, athletes, and entertainers, especially in their biggest moments, you will see a revelation of their genetic and energetic inheritance. And the nice thing is, Mitzi's exactly correct, that we give meaning to everything that we see. And ironically, that's why gratitude is so important, because gratitude is the ability to find light, to find love, to find lessons in the most horrific experiences that we all have traumatically had in our lives. So, you know, take that gratitude and forgiveness along with you, and you will live above the line in this unbelievable journey to do your best, learn lessons, and have fun. And beautiful advice, Missy. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
I
also,
was thinking, can I just piggyback on that? I was thinking this Thanksgiving, you know, when we think about, okay, what am I grateful for? And I was thinking through and I thought, all right, well, if I make a list, the list is just going to be endless. So then I thought, all right, is there anything I'm not grateful for? And the answer is no. I am grateful for everything in my entire life. There's nothing I am not grateful for, even those bad things, like Dave was saying, the traumatic things even.
And everyone, especially during Thanksgiving, remind yourself you're grateful for everyone. Look for what you want in people, and you can be grateful for all people.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring on Rene, but the last thing I'm going to say about that is, and also, oftentimes our worst experiences are our greatest teachers.
Yes, they are.
No doubt.
Right.
That's the capability. There's the landing of the plane, my favorite hand motion. Here's one of my favorite people on earth, a newer friend of mine, the amazing Double R. That's rest and relaxation, Rene Rodriguez in the house. Please. His internet. Oh, there he goes. He paid his internet bill. There we go.
Mitz, hang out for a while.
Okay.
Rene, how you doing, brother?
How are you? How's everybody?
How you doing?
Amazing.
Hi, Rene.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Hello. Nice to meet you, Mitzi.
Nice
Dave,
to
what's
meet
up,
you.
Brother?
Good to see you.
So good to see you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Rene, where you dialing in from?
I'm just at home. Minnesota.
Minnesota? Is it cold?
Soda.
It is always cold here.
I love it.
What's that about?
Here.
Always cold.
What's that about?
What's that?
What is that about?
Oh, I know. There was just a Diet Coke, yeah. No, yeah. I'm from Miami, so like I fought against that accent for my whole life.
You did a good job. I have no idea.
Good thing.
This is going to be fun. So many places we can see this conversation. I want to make the most of our time. I know it's Saturday. I was checking out Renee's content, which I highly suggest everybody do immediately. And Renee, you coach a lot of high achievers, and you're one of the best in the world at it. And one thing that I saw you talk about, which I think will be really cool to unpack today, is 6 seconds of intentional focus. And that's different than just typical focus. What is the difference with that, brother?
That's actually a concept by my good friend Ben Newman. And I want to be really clear that that's one of his ideas that affected me. In my videos, they somehow deleted his name on that. But what he was talking about there was, I think this is the backdrop to everything. All of the answers that we're looking for are found in cliches, meaning things that we've heard over and over and over and over and over again. But we've developed such a counter to the cliche that it doesn't affect us anymore. And so we start searching for the new and the unique and something that's shiny and bright. And it's like going to a personal trainer, say, I want to lose weight and get in shape. Oh, great. What are you eating and how much are you exercising? I tried that last year. Give me something new. It's nothing new. All of this is there. And so we talk about a focus. The reason why I think that adding that word intentional focus is it qualifies a little bit more and it makes it stand out. And a lot of times focus just means like, well, for how long? And it's just this broad concept that's vague. Well, I am focused. Well, then when you say, well, I'm just going to get focused for 6 seconds. Well, anybody can do that. And then all of a sudden, in most plays, and what he was talking about in football, last about 6 seconds. And can I get 1,000% focused in the 6 seconds? Well, let's apply it to work. I've got a project coming up. Well, can I get focused for the next 2 minutes? And really get focused. And that focus, even just start with 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, you get so focused in, your attention begins to narrow. We call it attentional narrowing, which triggers the brain to even lower ADD type symptoms, all sorts of things. And you get really, really hyper-focused. And we just need new ways of doing the things that have been around forever.
Yeah. Dave, what are you smiling at?
I smile because Renee's here, man. What else is there to smile about? I think there's a mathematical equation of luck and, determined upon time as a linear construct to everything we do, but most importantly, two things: attention plus your intention. And I believe in 5 levels of intention: doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing. And if you can apply the linear construct to the activities in which most where attention and intention are most necessary by the prioritization of your values. So in a football game, it's 6 seconds, right? Because the value in the prioritization of attention and intention is play by play. But other people may have a longer construct, like 2 minutes or an hour. But I think it's really important to understand, number one, what Mitzi and I were talking about is you first have to align the meaning, the light, the love, and the lessons of your past in the trajectory towards where you want to be, and then implement attention plus intention, doing, saying, thinking, believing, and feeling in that trajectory to a coincidence, a coinciding, which best effectuates your desires, or better, once again, incorporating what we were talking about, that you are not capable of understanding or knowing that an outcome is protecting and promoting you, including in football. I'm blessed to coach a lot of head coaches and offensive coordinators, and talking about outcomes that a lot of times when we have a play that may not seem to be the outcome in which we desired, and you see this a lot at the end of the game in football right now, where a team scores quickly, but it's a good thing because they left enough time on the clock for the attention and intention of your team to win the game. And even though the touchdown was not the desired outcome, it actually ended up to be the facilitating cause, protection, and promotion of the victory as a whole. And that happens in life all the time, that there's touchdowns scored against us and we perceive it as punishment. But with the right mindset, heart set, hand set, intention, it ends up being a really valuable benefit to us.
You're so handsome, Dave.
Yeah, I've been told by one person, my wife.
This is awesome. I'm going to ask Rene another one, and then we'll go around all of this. This is a good one. Rene,
you give meaning to everything you see, Craig. So if I'm good looking, good for us.
Rene, you're one of the most gifted communicators that I've seen in a very long time. It's very impressive. And I saw you talking about one of the best ways to connect with people is to cultivate the courage to be vulnerable. How important is that in regards to being an effective communicator and connecting?
So go back to every single speaker and teacher and friend that you've remembered and connected with. And then if you were to remove the vulnerable moments, you wouldn't have that same connection or experience. And so it's such a ironic thing, because I do work with a lot of big ego, big personalities, and God bless them for their egos. They've done a lot of good things. They've earned the right to think big. And when I've also worked with leaders that hide that vulnerability, and they've done big things. The difference is they're admired. You just can't connect with them. It's like this big, beautiful structure that there's no doorway in. You can sit back and admire the things that it's done and the size and how beautiful it is, but I don't know them. But the ones that open the door and allow you in, even just an ounce of it, all of a sudden there's a different kind of connection. And so I think that when we're talking about vulnerability, there's always, the big question is, well, how much? I don't want to share the story of X, Y, and Z. I said, well, the answer is always as much as necessary, but as little as possible. And so they said, well, I don't know how much. I said, well, do you ever use salt? They go, yeah. I said, why don't you just take the cap off and pour the whole thing on? Oh, that'd be unbearable. I said, so is too much vulnerability. But if you remove it, it's a boring and bland meal, but just enough, man, it'll change your life. And so you got to start doing that. And they go, well, how do I know how much? It's called practice and repetition. You got to screw it up a bunch of times to find out that balance. You got to go a little bit too far and a little bit too little, and you start going through and you figure out that's enough. You can't fast forward experience. You can't outsource experience in that sense. For that connection, it's got to come through practice and repetition.
What an awesome analogy, right, Mitz?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about that. The feedback. It's like almost like the feedback you get when you're interacting with an animal or like any other being, where you're going to read the reaction and then you can decide how to proceed with your behavior.
Dave, you're a master of vulnerability as well.
I really appreciate the salt analogy, because I know at first when bankruptcy was my greatest fear, and I dreaded even telling my family that I lost everything, but had to, obviously. But then in social media, especially, or on the stages, being able to, illuminate. I think there's a great irony in it too, that, when I was worth in my 30s over $100 million, nobody asked me for financial advice. they just did, because I was arrogant and closed-minded, and I was a good person with a bad trajectory, let's just put it that way. And nobody asked me because I wasn't approachable and I wasn't teaching anyone anything. And it wasn't until I illuminated those economic failures, especially, that people started asking me for financial advice. And today I laugh that more people ask me for advice because I've lost everything than made it back. And it's really interesting. And I see with the economic pressures where they're at today, more people are looking for the lessons in the pain and the struggle, in the failure and the illumination. But I've never thought about it as far as too much. And it can be too much because it loses its frequency or authenticity. And as usual, Renee's just bringing it to the next level.
Yeah, that was a really relatable analogy. We'll land up playing with this final nugget. One of the other many things that Renee does awesome is teach people how to influence and so forth. And I know there's a lot of people that want to be influencers or help people or even make an impact. What is something tangible that someone that wants to do that can identify on how they should begin to influence people?
Well, I think we need to have a pause and a reset on the word influence. It has been overused and misused and abused in today's social media. There's a great meme that says, Lord, give me the confidence of a 25-year-old life coach. And it's like, and I'm all for thinking big, but I'm not going to say I'm going to teach you how to grow hair. Or I'm not going to do a class for Mitzi on the menstrual cycle and what she's getting. I'm going to take her class, right? And so there's a beauty in identifying where we're meant to be in and where we're meant to be a student, where we're meant to influence, where we're meant to learn. And there's so many people out there giving advice. And when we're talking about influence, to me, none of the biggest influence set out to be an influencer. They set out to speak from something they believe in deeply. And they set out to create an expertise and a mastery on that. And that they achieve that through experience and results generated. And then after all that was done, they said, let me show you what I did. It doesn't happen backwards. It doesn't happen the other way. Unfortunately, it's just very easy to trick people into that. And so now, can you influence without experience? Absolutely. You can influence by speaking authentically and from the heart and speaking on something that you truly care about. And, you know, a lot of people says, well, I'm brand new in a business, so I can't be an influencer. So it's not true. What is your lane? If let's say you're brand new first month in the business, but you came from an athletic background, well, you have experience in athletics and discipline and hard work and numbers. So influence through your hard work and effort. That might be your lane for a short period of time, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then you're going to be the most resourceful, the one that out hustles everyone. That you can influence through. But if you're brand new trying to be an expert, don't do that. And so it's really about understanding that lane that I'm most credible. Aristotle calls it your ethos, that credibility, that character that is most true to who you are. That is also the beginning of branding, is what's your ethos? Where are you most credible? And what do you do most effortlessly? And a lot of times we get all that confused. So I would say let go of trying to be influential and go back in and learn what is it you believe. Dive 100% into that piece. Yes, you have to learn, you know, the art and science of influence, body language, sequencing, the use of hands, right? I'm using my hands online. These are things that are important. The importance of camera quality on Zoom and a good audio. The importance of being able to have good posture when you're on that stage and not umming and ahhing and mastering over your voice. And those are all skill sets. But I don't teach those skill sets until we've gotten clear of the foundation of the person. Because you teach a skill set on top of an empty soul, not usually a good outcome.
I agree. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, skills, knowledge, and desire are amplified by this, what I call influencer, right? So an influencer is someone that identifies what they do to interfere with their potential. And regardless, I love the idea of, may I have the confidence of a 25-year-old life coach or a 19-year-old life coach? That's genius. I have to like follow this 19-year-old life coach. I'm like, are you coaching 5-year-olds? Because I can see there'd be great influence in your experience from 5 to 19. I will quickly, my brother's a rabbi, and when I got married, you do marriage counseling, and he wasn't married. And I'm not sure he had ever had sex. And I literally told him, I'm like, dude, like, why are you going to give me marriage counseling? Like, in what world are you going to teach me anything? I'm going to go to the guy that's been divorced 3 times. That sounds like someone that's an influencer when it comes to marriage and what I need to do from the lessons that they've learned. So I love the term influencer. Influencers seem to be spreading a flu or disease. Influencers identify the disease and help you resolve it to reach your potential.
Yeah.
I love that. Get in your own flow. I love that.
Yeah, and it's typically, what are you most qualified to speak on? What have you been through, right? How can you speak to something that you have experience in and speak on that?
Yeah, and you have to have that level of self-discovery, your knowledge of yourself, the self-awareness to be able to really tap into that.
Yeah,
Love that.
Amazing.
beautiful. No
What do you say, G?
What'd you say, Dave?
Said what do you say?
Yeah.
It's Michigan Ohio State Day. Go Buckeyes.
Yeah, I couldn't have had more fun this morning. Thank you guys for joining us on a Saturday.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
For our community, check out all the awesome stuff Mitz and Rene has going on. Mitz is about to launch a brand new book club, which I think is really cool. And thank you guys, and looking forward to connecting you further, Rene. And Dave, as always, my consistent partner in crime. Stop being so handsome.
You got it. Happy
Congratulations,
Thanksgiving. Love you guys.
Dave.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys. Have a good week.
Wonderful
Guys.
weekend.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.